You know what changes everything? The moment you stop waiting for permission. The moment you stop looking around for someone to validate your dreams, to tell you it's okay to move forward, to give you that green light you think you need. That moment when you realize that the person you've been waiting for is you, that's when your life transforms completely. Look, I want to talk to you today about something that matters tremendously. It's about moving forward when you feel alone. It's about getting ahead when the support you hope for simply isn't there. And I'm going to tell you something right now that might sting a little bit, but it's also going to set you free. You don't need anyone else to make your life work. You don't need their approval, their encouragement, or their belief in you. What you need is already inside you, and it has been there all along. So many people spend their entire lives waiting. They wait for their parents to understand them. They wait for their spouse to support their vision. They wait for their friends to cheer them on. They wait for the right circumstances, the right economy, the right moment when everything lines up perfectly. And while they're waiting, life is passing them by. Years go by, and they're still in the same place, still hoping that someone will show up and make it easier. But here's what I've learned, and what I want you to understand right down to your bones. The universe doesn't reward waiting, it rewards action. It rewards people who move despite their fear, who act despite their doubt, who keep going even when everyone around them says it can't be done. The universe responds to your energy, your intention, your willingness to say yes to yourself even when everyone else is saying no. You see, when you came into this world, you came in with everything you needed. You didn't arrive here broken or incomplete. You arrived here whole, with infinite potential, with a purpose that only you can fulfill. But somewhere along the way, we get programmed. We get taught that we need others to complete us, that we need external validation to know we're on the right path, that we need the crowd to applaud before we can feel good about ourselves. And that programming is what keeps most people stuck their entire lives. Think about it for a moment. Think about all the great achievements in human history, all the breakthroughs, all the innovations, all the art and music and literature that has touched millions of lives. Almost every single one of those things came from someone who was willing to stand alone, someone who was willing to be misunderstood, someone who kept going when everyone else thought they were crazy. The Wright brothers were laughed at. Edison was called a fool. Every person who has ever done anything significant has had to face the naysayers, the doubters, the people who couldn't see what they could see. And the only difference between those who made it and those who didn't was that the ones who made it refused to let other people's opinions become their reality. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might be saying, but it's hard to do it alone. It's hard when your family doesn't support you. It's hard when your friends don't understand. It's hard when you're the only one who believes in what you're doing. And you're absolutely right. It is hard. But you know what's harder? Living a life of regret. Dying with your music still inside you. Reaching the end of your days and wondering what might have been if you had just been brave enough to try. The truth is, being alone in your pursuit is actually a gift. It's a gift because it forces you to develop inner strength. It forces you to cultivate self-reliance. It forces you to connect with that higher part of yourself, that infinite intelligence that's always there, always guiding you, always supporting you, even when no human being is. When you have no one else to lean on, you learn to lean on something far more powerful. You learn to lean on the universal force that creates worlds, that turns acorns into oak trees, that guides salmon upstream and birds south for the winter. That same force is inside you, animating you, breathing you, living through you. And when you tap into that, when you align with that, you become unstoppable. Let me tell you something about how this works. Everything in this universe is energy. Your thoughts are energy. Your beliefs are energy. Your focus is energy. And energy attracts like energy. So when you're constantly looking outside yourself for support, when you're constantly focused on what's missing, when you're constantly telling yourself the story that you can't make it without others, you're sending out that energy of lack, of incompleteness, of dependency. And what does the universe send back to you? More situations that confirm that belief. But when you shift your focus, when you start seeing yourself as whole and complete exactly as you are, when you start acting from a place of inner certainty rather than outer validation, everything changes. You start attracting different circumstances. You start attracting different people. You start attracting opportunities that weren't there before, not because the world changed, but because you changed. You changed your energy, and the universe responded. This is not some mystical idea. This is how life works. This is physics. This is the law of attraction, the law of correspondence, the law of cause and effect. You are the cause, and your life is the effect. Always, no exceptions. The moment you truly get this, the moment you truly own this, you stop being a victim and you become a creator. Now, let's talk about what it means to get ahead when no one is there for you. First, you have to understand what getting ahead really means. Most people think getting ahead means accumulating more stuff, more money, more status, more recognition. And while there's nothing wrong with having those things, that's not what getting ahead is really about. Getting ahead is about growth. It's about becoming more of who you really are. It's about expressing your authentic self. It's about contributing something meaningful to the world. It's about living in alignment with your highest values and your deepest purpose. And here's the beautiful thing. You don't need anyone's permission to do any of that. You don't need anyone's help to grow. You don't need anyone's approval to express yourself. You don't need anyone's support to live your purpose. You already have everything you need inside you right now. You have creativity, you have intelligence, you have intuition, you have determination, you have resilience, you have courage. Maybe you've forgotten about these gifts. Maybe they've been buried under years of conditioning and criticism and disappointment. But they're still there, and they're waiting for you to claim them. The first step to getting ahead alone is to make a decision. You have to decide right now in this moment that you're done waiting. You're done hoping someone will save you. You're done looking for external validation. You're done letting other people's opinions run your life. You're done playing small to make others comfortable. You decide that from this point forward, you're going to be the author of your own story, the captain of your own ship, the master of your own destiny. And when you make that decision, really make it, not just think about it, but commit to it with every fiber of your being. Something shifts in the universe. Doors start to open. Resources start to appear. Ideas start to flow. It's like you've been pushing against a locked door your whole life, and suddenly you realize the door was never locked at all. You were just pushing when you should have been pulling. The second step is to get clear on what you want. Not what your parents want for you, not what society says you should want, not what would make you look good on social media. What do you actually want? What makes your heart sing? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you do if no one was watching? What would you do if money was no object? You need to get honest about this because you can't hit a target you can't see. And so many people are aiming at targets that aren't even theirs. They're living someone else's dream, following someone else's path, trying to fit into someone else's idea of success, and then they wonder why they feel empty even when they achieve their goals. Your purpose is unique to you. Your path is unique to you. Your gifts are unique to you. There's something you came here to do that only you can do. And the moment you start honoring that, the moment you start moving in that direction, everything starts to align. But you have to be willing to tune out the noise and tune into your inner guidance. The third step is to take action. This is where most people get stuck. They have the decision, they have the clarity, but they wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect circumstances. And those perfect conditions never come, so they stay stuck in preparation mode, in planning mode, in I'll do it when mode. But action is what bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single time. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step, and then the next step will reveal itself, and then the next one. That's how it works. You move forward in faith, trusting that the path will unfold before you. And yes, you will make mistakes. Yes, you will stumble. Yes, you will face setbacks and obstacles and challenges. That's part of the process. That's not evidence that you're doing something wrong. That's evidence that you're doing something, period. The only people who never fail are the people who never try. When you're moving forward alone, when you don't have a cheering section, when you don't have people telling you you're doing great, you have to learn to be your own cheerleader. You have to learn to validate yourself. You have to learn to celebrate your small wins, to acknowledge your progress, to be gentle with yourself when things don't go as planned. This is where self-talk becomes critical. Most people have a vicious critic living inside their head, constantly telling them they're not good enough, smart enough, talented enough, worthy enough. And when you don't have external support, that internal critic can become overwhelming. It can paralyze you. It can stop you in your tracks. But you can change that voice. You can retrain your mind. You can choose what you focus on. Every time that negative voice shows up, you can thank it for trying to protect you and then redirect your attention to something more empowering. You can ask yourself better questions. Instead of why can't I do this, ask how can I do this? Instead of what's wrong with me, ask what's right with me. Instead of why doesn't anyone support me, ask how can I support myself? Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. It can be your greatest asset or your greatest liability. When you learn to direct it, when you learn to use it intentionally, you become capable of things you never thought possible. You start seeing opportunities where before you only saw obstacles. You start seeing possibilities where before you only saw limitations. You start seeing yourself as powerful where before you saw yourself as powerless. Another crucial element of getting ahead alone is learning to be comfortable with solitude. We live in a world that glorifies busyness, that glorifies being constantly connected, that makes you feel like something is wrong if you're spending time alone. But solitude is where the magic happens. Solitude is where you connect with your true self. Solitude is where you hear the whispers of your intuition. Solitude is where you recharge and renew and remember who you really are. When you're comfortable being alone with yourself, when you actually enjoy your own company, you stop needing others to complete you. You stop looking for external entertainment to distract you from your internal experience. You start drawing strength from within rather than constantly seeking it from without. And paradoxically, when you stop needing people, that's when the right people start showing up in your life. Because here's what happens. When you're needy, when you're desperate for support and validation, you attract people who take advantage of that. You attract users and takers and people who drain your energy. But when you're whole within yourself, when you're secure in who you are, when you know your own worth, you attract a different caliber of person. You attract people who respect you, who value you, who want to support your growth rather than hold you back, but you can't get to that place by avoiding solitude. You have to be willing to spend time with yourself. You have to be willing to sit with your thoughts, to feel your feelings, to face your fears. You have to be willing to do the inner work that most people avoid their entire lives. And the inner work is not always comfortable. Sometimes it means confronting parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. Sometimes it means acknowledging beliefs that have been holding you back. Sometimes it means feeling emotions you've been suppressing for years. But on the other side of that discomfort is freedom. On the other side of that inner work is a version of you that's more authentic, more powerful, more aligned with your true purpose. Let me tell you about a principle that changes everything when you really understand it. You are not separate from the source of all creation. You are an extension of it. You are an expression of it. The same intelligence that orchestrates the entire universe is flowing through you right now. The same power that creates galaxies and atoms and everything in between is your power too. When you really get this, when you really feel it in your bones, you stop feeling alone because you realize you're never alone. You're always connected to something infinitely greater than yourself. You're always supported by a force that never judges you, never abandons you, never stops loving you. And when you align with that force, when you let it guide you, when you trust it completely, miracles start happening in your life. This is not about religion, by the way. You don't have to believe in any particular doctrine or follow any specific path. This is about recognizing the fundamental truth of your existence. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are consciousness having an adventure in form. And when you remember that, when you live from that awareness, everything shifts. Now, people will tell you that you need qualifications. They'll tell you that you need degrees, credentials, experience, connections. And while those things can be helpful, they're not what determines your success. What determines your success is your willingness to serve, your commitment to growth, your dedication to excellence, your ability to add value to other people's lives. You can start right where you are with what you have. You don't need permission from some institution or authority figure to begin. You don't need someone to anoint you or certify you or approve you. You just need to decide that you're ready to start, and then start. Begin before you feel ready. Begin before you feel qualified. Begin with fear and doubt and uncertainty, but begin anyway. The world needs what you have to offer. There are people out there right now who need your specific gifts, your unique perspective, your particular way of doing things. But they can't receive what you have to offer if you're still hiding, if you're still waiting, if you're still letting the lack of external support stop you. Think about this. Every person who has ever inspired you, every person you admire, every person whose work has touched your life in some meaningful way, they all had moments of doubt. They all had moments when they felt alone. They all had moments when they wondered if they were crazy for pursuing their vision. The only difference is they kept going anyway. They didn't let the doubt stop them. They didn't let the loneliness derail them. They didn't let the naysayers define their reality. And you can do the same thing. You have that same capacity. You have that same power. You have that same potential. The only question is, will you use it? Will you claim it? Will you step into it? Or will you let another year go by telling yourself the same old stories about why you can't, why it's too hard, why you need things to be different before you can begin? Here's something else I want you to understand. When you're getting ahead without external support, you're actually building something far more valuable than if everything was handed to you. You're building character. You're building resilience. You're building self-trust. You're building the kind of inner strength that no one can ever take away from you. People who have everything handed to them, who never have to struggle, who always have support and encouragement and resources, they often lack something crucial. They lack the grit that comes from overcoming obstacles. They lack the wisdom that comes from failure. They lack the self-confidence that comes from succeeding against the odds. When you do it the hard way, when you build something from nothing, when you achieve your goals despite the lack of support, you earn a kind of self-respect that can't be bought or given. You prove to yourself that you're capable. You prove to yourself that you're resourceful. You prove to yourself that you're stronger than you thought. And that proof, that evidence, becomes the foundation for even greater achievements. So don't resent the lack of support. Don't waste energy being bitter that people aren't there for you the way you wish they would be. Instead, see it as an opportunity. See it as a chance to develop capacities you might never develop otherwise. See it as a gift that's forcing you to dig deeper, to reach higher, to become more than you've ever been. When you change your perspective on your circumstances begin to change. When you stop seeing yourself as a victim of your situation and start seeing yourself as a student in the school of life, everything transforms. The same challenges that used to defeat you become opportunities for growth. The same setbacks that used to discourage you become lessons that make you wiser. The same loneliness that used to paralyze you becomes solitude that strengthens you. Let's talk about fear for a moment, because fear is the thing that stops most people from moving forward alone. They're afraid of failing. They're afraid of looking foolish. They're afraid of being judged. They're afraid of discovering that maybe they're not as capable as they hoped, so they stay in their comfort zone. They stay in situations that feel safe, even if those situations are slowly killing their spirit. But here's what you need to know about fear. It's just a feeling. It's not a fact. It's not a prophecy. It's not evidence that something bad is going to happen. It's just your nervous system's way of saying, hey, this is new, this is unfamiliar, pay attention. And yes, sometimes fear is warning you about real danger. But most of the time, especially when you're pursuing your dreams, fear is just the growing pains of expansion. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you're going to feel fear. Every single time. That never goes away. The people you think of as fearless, they feel fear too. They've just learned not to let it stop them. They've learned to feel the fear and move forward anyway. They've learned that courage is not the absence of fear, but action in the presence of fear. So you don't need to wait until you're not afraid anymore. You'll be waiting forever. What you need to do is acknowledge the fear, thank it for trying to keep you safe, and then do the thing anyway. Take the action. Make the call. Send the email. Launch the project. Start the business. Write the book. Record the video. Whatever it is that's calling to you, do it afraid. And when you do, something amazing happens. The fear doesn't necessarily go away, but your relationship with it changes. You realize that you're bigger than your fear. You realize that you can function perfectly well even when you're scared. You realize that fear is just one small part of your experience, not the whole thing. And with each action you take, despite the fear, you build evidence that you're capable, that you're brave, that you can handle whatever comes your way. Now, let's address something important. What about when you actually do fail? What about when things don't work out the way you planned? What about when you try your best and still fall short? This is where so many people give up. They interpret failure as evidence that they're not meant to succeed, that they should have listened to the doubters, that they should just settle for a safer, smaller life. But failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Every successful person has a string of failures behind them. The difference is they didn't stop. They didn't let failure define them. They didn't make it mean something about their worth or their potential. They extracted the lesson, made the adjustment, and kept going. When you're alone in your pursuit, when you don't have a support system to help you process failure, you have to be extra careful about the story you tell yourself. You have to be vigilant about not letting one setback convince you that you're not capable. You have to keep your failures in perspective, seeing them as feedback rather than as final verdicts. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What would I do differently next time? What am I stronger or wiser or more skilled in because of this experience? When you approach failure with curiosity rather than judgment, it stops being something to fear and becomes something valuable. It becomes information. It becomes training. It becomes preparation for your eventual success. And here's something that might surprise you. Sometimes the lack of support is actually protecting you. Sometimes the people who aren't there for you would actually hold you back if they were involved. Sometimes their doubts would become your doubts. Sometimes their limitations would become your limitations. Sometimes their fear would dampen your enthusiasm, and their skepticism would undermine your faith. When you're free from those influences, when you're insulated from that negativity, you can maintain your vision, you can keep your energy high. You can stay focused on what's possible rather than getting dragged down into what's probable according to other people's limited perspectives. So the very thing that feels like a disadvantage might actually be your greatest advantage. This is why it's so important to be selective about who you listen to. Not everyone deserves access to your dreams. Not everyone has earned the right to comment on your vision. Just because someone has an opinion doesn't mean you need to receive it. Just because someone is related to you or has known you for a long time doesn't mean they understand where you're going or what you're capable of becoming. You have to protect your inner space. You have to guard your mind and your heart against negativity and doubt and fear-based thinking. This doesn't mean you ignore legitimate concerns or refuse to hear constructive feedback. It means you're discerning. It means you consider the source. It means you only let in voices that are aligned with your growth and your highest good. And when you can't find those voices externally, you cultivate that voice internally. You become your own mentor. You become your own coach. You become your own best friend. You learn to speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement and belief. You learn to be the person you wish someone else would be for you. This is one of the most powerful shifts you can make, from waiting for external validation to generating internal validation. From needing others to believe in you to believing in yourself so strongly that it doesn't matter what others think. From looking outside for permission to giving yourself permission. From seeking approval to seeking alignment with your authentic self. When you make this shift, you become unstoppable, not because circumstances become easier, but because you're no longer dependent on circumstances. Not because people suddenly start supporting you, but because you no longer need their support to move forward. Not because obstacles disappear, but because you've developed the inner resources to overcome any obstacle. Let me share something with you about the nature of reality. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. What you see around you is a mirror of what's going on inside you. So if you're constantly focused on what's missing, if you're constantly telling yourself the story that you're alone and unsupported and that life is hard, that's exactly what you'll experience more of. But if you shift your focus, if you start looking for evidence that the universe is supporting you, you'll start seeing it everywhere. You'll notice synchronicities, you'll notice opportunities, you'll notice people and resources and ideas showing up right when you need them. Not because reality changed, but because you changed what you were looking for. This is why gratitude is so powerful. When you're grateful for what you have, when you appreciate the support that is available to you, even if it's not in the form you expected, you open yourself up to receive more. When you're grateful for your own strength, for your own resilience, for your own determination, you strengthen those qualities within yourself. Start each day by acknowledging what's going right. Start each day by recognizing your own capabilities. Start each day by connecting with that infinite source of power and wisdom within you. This practice alone will transform your experience. It will shift you from victim consciousness to creator consciousness. It will shift you from scarcity to abundance. It will shift you from limitation to possibility. And as you make this shift, as you step more fully into your power, something interesting happens. You stop being so concerned with whether people are there for you or not. You stop keeping score. You stop feeling resentful about the lack of support. Because you realize that your relationship with yourself is the most important relationship you'll ever have. You realize that being your own source of love and approval and encouragement is the greatest gift you can give yourself. This doesn't mean you become cold or isolated or disconnected from others. Actually, the opposite happens. When you're not coming from a place of neediness, when you're not constantly seeking validation, when you're secure in yourself, you become much more capable of healthy relationships. You become much more capable of giving and receiving in a balanced way. You become much more capable of connecting authentically. But those connections come as a bonus, not as a necessity. They enhance your life rather than define it. And that makes all the difference. That's the difference between dependency and interdependency. That's the difference between looking for someone to complete you and sharing yourself fully with another complete person. So, where do you go from here? How do you actually implement all of this? How do you start getting ahead when no one is there for you? You start by making a commitment to yourself. You commit that from this day forward, you're going to show up for yourself the way you've always wanted others to show up for you. You're going to believe in yourself the way you've wanted others to believe in you. You're going to support yourself the way you've wished others would support you. And then you take one action, just one. Whatever the next right step is for you, you take it. Maybe it's researching something you want to learn. Maybe it's making a phone call you've been avoiding. Maybe it's starting that project you've been putting off. Maybe it's just sitting in silence and reconnecting with yourself. Whatever it is, you take that step, and then tomorrow, you take another one, and then another one. Progress compounds. Small actions taken consistently over time create massive results. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to keep moving forward one step at a time, trusting that the path will reveal itself as you walk it. And on the days when it feels hard, when you feel discouraged, when you wonder if it's worth it, remember this: you are not doing this just for yourself. You're doing this for everyone whose life you're going to touch. You're doing this for everyone who's going to be inspired by your example. You're doing this for everyone who needs what only you can give. Your success matters. Your growth matters. Your willingness to keep going even when it's hard, even when you're alone, even when no one understands, that matters. Because every time someone breaks through their limitations, they make it easier for others to do the same. Every time someone achieves something they were told was impossible, they expand the realm of possibility for everyone. You are not separate from the whole. You are part of it. And when you rise, you lift others with you. When you break through your barriers, you weaken those same barriers for everyone else. When you refuse to give up on yourself, you give others permission to refuse to give up on themselves. This is the truth of it. You came here to shine. You came here to express the fullness of who you are. You came here to create, to contribute, to make a difference. And whether anyone else recognizes that or supports that or believes in that is completely irrelevant. What matters is that you recognize it. What matters is that you support it. What matters is that you believe in it. So stop waiting. Stop hoping. Stop wishing things were different. Accept where you are. Accept that you're alone in this right now. Accept that no one is coming to save you. And then let that acceptance become your liberation. Let it become your motivation. Let it become the very thing that propels you forward. Because when you truly accept that you're alone, when you truly own that reality, you also accept that you're free. Free to make your own choices. Free to follow your own path. Free to become whoever you want to become. No one is there to stop you. No one is there to hold you back. No one is there to tell you what you can or cannot do. The absence of support is actually the presence of freedom. The lack of someone else's belief in you is actually the space for your own belief to grow stronger. The silence of the crowd is actually the opportunity to hear your own inner voice more clearly. So use this time wisely. Use this solitude purposefully. Use this independence courageously. Build something that matters. Create something meaningful. Become someone you're proud of. Do it for yourself. Do it because it's who you are. Do it because you can't not do it. Then one day, you'll look back on this time and you'll see it differently. You'll see that being alone wasn't a curse but a blessing. You'll see that the lack of support wasn't abandonment but opportunity. You'll see that having to do it yourself wasn't a burden but a gift. Because that struggle, that difficulty, that loneliness, that's what forged you into the person you needed to become. That's what developed the strength and the wisdom and the character that made everything else possible. That's what gave you the self-confidence. and the self-reliance and the self-trust that no external circumstance can ever shake. That's what taught you that you are enough, that you have what it takes, that you can handle whatever life throws at you. And when you get to that place, when you really know that in your bones, when you really live from that certainty, life becomes an adventure rather than a struggle. Challenges become interesting rather than overwhelming. Setbacks become temporary rather than defeating. Because you know who you are, you know what you're made of. You know that you can figure it out, no matter what it is. That's the gift of getting ahead alone. That's the treasure that's hidden in the difficulty. That's the gold that's buried in what looks like limitation. And that gift, that treasure, that gold, it's worth everything you have to go through to claim it. So keep going. Keep moving forward. Keep believing in yourself. Keep honoring your vision. Keep following your path, even when it's hard, even when you're alone. Even when you can't see how it's all going to work out, keep going anyway, because you are not alone, not really. You're connected to a power and an intelligence and a love that is infinite and eternal and always available to you. You're connected to your own higher self, your own inner wisdom, your own divine nature. And when you live from that connection, when you draw from that well, when you trust that source, you have everything you need. You are whole, you are complete, you are enough, right now, exactly as you are. You don't need anyone else to make you more. You don't need anything else to happen before you can start. You don't need conditions to be different before you can succeed. You have the power. You have the wisdom. You have the strength. It's all there inside you, waiting for you to claim it. So claim it today, right now, in this moment. Decide that you're done playing small. Decide that you're done waiting for permission. Decide that you're done letting the lack of support stop you. Decide that from this point forward, you're going to be the author of your own story, and it's going to be a story of courage and growth and triumph, because that's who you really are, not the small, limited, fearful person that circumstances sometimes convince you to be, but the bold, powerful, infinite being that you came here to express. And the world is waiting for you to step into that. The world is waiting for you to share your gifts. The world is waiting for you to fulfill your purpose. Don't keep the world waiting any longer. Don't keep yourself waiting any longer. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your opportunity. Take it, own it, run with it, and never, ever look back. Right now, in this very moment, you are exactly where you need to be. And I know that might sound strange to you, especially if you're struggling, especially if you're waiting for something to change in your life, especially if you've been praying and hoping and wishing for something to manifest. But here's what I want you to understand. The universe is not against you. The universe is not making you wait because you're not worthy. The universe is responding to your energy, to your vibration, to what you're putting out there every single moment of every single day. You see, we've been taught to work hard, to struggle, to fight for everything we want. We've been taught that if we're not exhausted at the end of the day, we haven't done enough. We've been taught that suffering is noble, that pain is required, that we must earn our blessings through blood, sweat, and tears. And I'm here to tell you that this is one of the biggest lies we've ever been sold. It's time to let that go. It's time to understand that there's another way, a better way, a way that actually works with the laws of the universe instead of against them. When I say relax and trust, I'm not talking about being lazy. I'm not talking about sitting on your couch and waiting for $1 million to fall from the sky. What I'm talking about is understanding the difference between effort and struggle. What I'm talking about is knowing that when you're in alignment with source energy, when you're in harmony with the infinite intelligence that creates worlds, things flow to you easily and effortlessly. Not because you're special, not because you're better than anyone else, but because that's how the universe works. That's how it's always worked. That's how it will always work. Think about a seed planted in the ground. Does that seed struggle to become a flower? Does it worry and fret and lose sleep, wondering if it's going to make it? No, that seed trusts the process. That seed knows that it has everything it needs within itself to become what it's meant to become. It doesn't question whether the sun will shine or whether the rain will come. It simply grows. It simply becomes. And you are no different than that seed. You have within you right now everything you need to become who you're meant to be, to create what you're meant to create, to live the life you're meant to live. But here's where we get stuck. We don't trust. We don't relax. We're constantly in our heads, constantly worrying, constantly trying to figure out how it's all going to happen. We want to control every step of the process. We want to know exactly when and how and where our good is going to come to us. And in that state of worry, in that state of fear, in that state of trying to control everything, we actually push away the very things we're trying to attract. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. Your thoughts create your reality. Not sometimes, not occasionally, not just when you're feeling good, all the time. Every single thought you think is creating your future. Every single feeling you feel is sending out a signal to the universe. And the universe always, always, always responds to that signal. It has to. It's law. It's not personal. It's not arbitrary. It's as reliable as gravity. So when you're sitting there worrying about how you're going to pay your bills, when you're stressed about when your breakthrough is going to come, when you're frustrated because nothing seems to be working, you're actually creating more of that. You're telling the universe, give me more things to worry about. Give me more things to stress about. Give me more evidence that nothing works. And the universe, being the obedient servant that it is, says, your wish is my command, and delivers exactly what you're asking for. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, but I've been positive, I've been visualizing, I've been affirming, and still nothing has changed. And here's what I want you to understand. There's a difference between thinking positive thoughts and actually believing them. There's a difference between saying affirmations and feeling them in your bones. There's a difference between visualizing what you want and truly expecting it to show up. When you expect something, you relax about it. When you truly believe something is coming, you don't worry about when or how. You just know. It's like when you order something online. You don't sit by the door wondering if it's going to come. You don't stay up at night worried that the delivery person might not show up. You ordered it, you paid for it, and you know it's coming. You go about your life, you relax, you trust the process, and then one day, ding dong, there it is at your door. That's how manifestation works when you truly understand it. You place your order with the universe through your thoughts, your feelings, your intentions, and then you relax. You trust. You go about your life knowing that what you've asked for is already on its way. You live from the end result. You feel now the way you'll feel when it arrives. You act now the way you'll act when it's here. And in doing that, you collapse time. You speed up the manifestation process. You open yourself up to receiving it the same day. Yes, the same day. Not someday. Not eventually. Not in some distant future when you've suffered enough or learned enough or grown enough. The same day. Because in the realm of spirit, in the realm of infinite possibilities, time doesn't exist the way we think it does. Everything already exists. Every possibility, every outcome, every version of your life already exists right now in the quantum field. Your job is not to create it. Your job is to align with it. Your job is to become a vibrational match to what you want. And you can't become a vibrational match to abundance while you're vibrating in lack. You can't become a vibrational match to health while you're vibrating in disease. You can't become a vibrational match to love while you're vibrating in loneliness. You have to shift your energy first. You have to relax first. You have to trust first. You have to feel it first. And then the physical manifestation follows. This is where most people get it backwards. They think, I'll be happy when I have the money. I'll be peaceful when I have the relationship. I'll be confident when I have the success. And that's exactly why it never comes. You have to be happy first. You have to be peaceful first. You have to be confident first. You have to feel it before you see it. You have to believe it before it becomes visible. That's the secret. That's what all the great teachers throughout history have been trying to tell us. When you relax, when you let go of the struggle, when you stop trying to force things to happen, you open up a channel for the universe to work through you and for you. You allow miracles to occur. You allow synchronicities to show up. You allow the right people, the right opportunities, the right circumstances to come into your life at exactly the right time. I've seen this happen over and over again in my own life and in the lives of countless others. The moment you truly let go, the moment you truly surrender, the moment you truly trust, things start to shift. Sometimes in big ways, sometimes in small ways, but they always shift. Because you've changed your energy, you've changed your vibration, you've changed what you're broadcasting to the universe. And here's something else that's really important to understand. When I say expect it the same day, I'm not just talking about material things. I'm talking about peace. I'm talking about joy. I'm talking about love. I'm talking about healing. I'm talking about answers to your questions. I'm talking about solutions to your problems. You don't have to wait for these things. You can have them right now in this moment simply by choosing them. Peace is available to you right now. Not when your circumstances change, not when you finally get what you want, not when everyone around you approves of you. Right now, in this breath, in this moment, you can choose peace. You can choose to relax into the knowing that everything is working out for your highest good. You can choose to trust that the universe has your back. And when you make that choice, when you really make it, not just with your words, but with your whole being, something miraculous happens. The things you've been chasing start chasing you. The doors you've been trying to force open start opening effortlessly. The answers you've been seeking start revealing themselves. The people you need start showing up. The opportunities you've been praying for start presenting themselves. But you have to relax first. You have to trust first. You have to let go of the need to control every detail. You have to stop micromanaging the universe. You have to stop thinking you know better than infinite intelligence how things should unfold. You have to get out of your own way. Your ego wants to figure it all out. Your ego wants to know the plan. Your ego wants guarantees and certainties and step-by-step instructions. But your higher self, your true self, the part of you that's connected to source energy, knows that the best way forward is often not the way you would have planned. The best opportunities often come in disguises. The greatest blessings often arrive through unexpected channels. So when you relax and trust, you're not giving up. You're not being passive. You're actually being smart. You're working with the universe instead of against it. You're allowing infinite intelligence to guide you instead of relying solely on your limited human perspective. You're opening yourself up to possibilities that your logical mind could never conceive. Think about the times in your life when things worked out better than you could have planned. Think about the times when what you thought was a setback turned out to be a setup for something better. Think about the times when a closed door led you to an open door you didn't even know existed. That's what happens when you let go of control. That's what happens when you trust the process. That's what happens when you relax into the flow of life. Now, I know some of you are dealing with real challenges right now. I know some of you are facing situations that feel overwhelming. I know some of you are wondering how you're supposed to relax when everything seems to be falling apart. And I want to say to you, with all the love in my heart, this is exactly when you need to relax the most. This is exactly when you need to trust the most. This is exactly when you need to remember that you are not alone, that you are supported, that you are loved by a power greater than anything you can comprehend. When you're in the middle of a storm, the worst thing you can do is panic. The worst thing you can do is flail around and exhaust yourself fighting against the waves. The best thing you can do is take a breath, center yourself, and trust that you know how to swim. Trust that the storm will pass. Trust that you have within you the strength and the wisdom and the resources to handle whatever comes your way. And here's what happens when you do that. You tap into a power that's beyond your personal power. You tap into the power of the universe itself. You tap into the same power that causes flowers to bloom and planets to orbit and your heart to beat without you thinking about it. And that power is infinite. That power is unlimited. That power can do in a moment what would take you years to accomplish on your own. But you have to let it in. You have to create space for it. You have to get your limited thinking out of the way. And you do that by relaxing. You do that by trusting. You do that by expecting good things to come to you, not someday, not eventually, but right now, today, the same day you ask for them. This is not wishful thinking. This is not magical thinking. This is understanding how energy works. This is understanding how creation works. This is understanding that you are not separate from the universe. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are a powerful creator who is always, always, always creating your experience through the thoughts you think and the feelings you feel and the beliefs you hold. So if you've been struggling, if you've been trying so hard and getting nowhere, if you've been feeling frustrated and exhausted and ready to give up, I want you to try something different. I want you to stop. I want you to take a breath. I want you to relax your shoulders. I want you to soften your face. I want you to let go of the tension you've been carrying. And I want you to say to yourself, I trust. I trust that everything is working out for my highest good. I trust that what I need is coming to me. I trust that I am supported. I trust that I am loved. I trust that I am exactly where I need to be. And mean it. Don't just say the words, feel them, believe them, let them sink into your bones, let them change your energy. Let them shift your vibration, because when you do that, everything changes. Not in some distant future, not someday when you've earned it, right now, in this moment, the same day. You see, the universe doesn't reward struggle. The universe rewards alignment. The universe rewards harmony. The universe rewards the person who is in a state of allowing, not the person who is in a state of resistance. And when you're trying so hard, when you're pushing so hard, when you're forcing so hard, you're in resistance. You're telling the universe, I don't trust you. I don't believe you can deliver. I have to do this all by myself. And the universe, respecting your free will, steps back and says, okay, if that's what you believe, if that's what you want, go ahead and try to do it all yourself. And you struggle and you strain and you exhaust yourself, and it still doesn't work. Because that's not how it's designed to work. It's designed to be easy. It's designed to be joyful. It's designed to flow. When you're in alignment with source energy, when you're in harmony with the universe, life flows, doors open, opportunities appear, the right people show up, the money comes, the healing happens, the love arrives, not because you forced it, not because you struggled for it, but because you allowed it, because you relaxed into it, because you trusted it. And I want to be clear about something. Relaxing and trusting doesn't mean you don't take action. It means you take inspired action instead of desperate action. It means you move forward from a place of knowing instead of a place of fear. It means you do what you're guided to do, what feels right, what lights you up, rather than what you think you should do or what everyone else is doing or what worked for someone else. When you're relaxed and trusting, you're more connected to your intuition. You're more connected to your inner guidance. You're more connected to the wisdom that's always available to you when you're quiet enough to hear it, and that guidance will never lead you wrong. It will never tell you to do something that's not in your highest good. It will never steer you in the wrong direction, but you can't hear that guidance when you're in panic mode. You can't hear it when you're in stress mode. You can't hear it when you're constantly worried and anxious and afraid. You have to calm down. You have to center yourself. You have to create space for that still small voice to speak to you, and then you have to trust what it tells you. You have to follow it even when it doesn't make logical sense. You have to believe that it knows better than your rational mind what's best for you. This is faith, real faith, not believing that some external deity is going to swoop down and save you, but believing that you are connected to an infinite source of wisdom and power and love that is always guiding you, always supporting you, always working on your behalf. And when you have that kind of faith, when you really trust at that level, you can relax, you can let go. You can expect your good to come to you the same day because you know it's already done. You know it's already handled. You know that in the realm of spirit, in the realm of infinite possibilities, what you desire already exists and is simply waiting for you to align with it. And how do you align with it? By feeling now the way you'll feel when it arrives. By living now the way you'll live when it's here. By being now the person you'll be when you have what you want. You don't wait for the evidence to believe. You believe first, and then the evidence shows up. That's the order. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked for every person who has ever manifested anything they desired. Think about people who have achieved great success. Think about people who have overcome incredible odds. Think about people who have healed from supposedly incurable diseases. Think about people who have created amazing lives from nothing. What did they all have in common? They believed before they saw. They expected their good before it was visible. They relaxed into the knowing that what they wanted was possible, was probable, was inevitable. And then it showed up. Not because they were special, not because they were chosen, but because they understood the law. They understood how energy works. They understood that they had to be it before they could have it. So where in your life are you still waiting? Where are you still saying, I'll be happy when? Where are you still postponing your joy, your peace, your fulfillment until some external condition is met? Because I'm here to tell you that you can have it now, you can feel it now, you can be it now, and when you do, the external circumstances will rearrange themselves to match your internal state. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is practical spiritual truth. This is how the universe operates, and you can test it. You can prove it to yourself. Start today. Start right now. Choose something you've been wanting. It doesn't have to be something big. In fact, it's better to start with something small, something that doesn't have a lot of emotional charge attached to it, and then practice relaxing about it. Practice trusting that it's coming. Practice expecting it to show up the same day. And notice what happens. Notice how when you truly let go of the attachment, when you truly stop worrying about it, it shows up. Maybe not always the exact same day, because sometimes there's a little bit of lag time as the energy shifts and the circumstances rearrange. But it shows up faster than it would have if you were in stress and struggle mode. It shows up easier. It shows up in better ways than you could have orchestrated on your own. And as you experience this with small things, your faith grows, your trust deepens, your ability to relax increases. And then you can apply it to bigger things. You can apply it to the things you really want, the things you've been dreaming about, the things you've been praying for. And you'll find that the same principle applies. Relax and trust, and it comes. Expect it the same day, and the universe rushes to deliver it to you. But you have to do your part. You have to shift your energy. You have to change your vibration. You have to stop living in lack and start living in abundance. You have to stop living in fear and start living in faith. You have to stop living in doubt and start living in knowing. And the beautiful thing is, you can make this shift in an instant. It doesn't take years of therapy. It doesn't take decades of meditation. It doesn't require you to become a different person. It just requires you to remember who you really are. To remember that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. To remember that you are connected to infinite intelligence. To remember that you are loved and supported and guided every single moment of every single day. When you remember this, really remember it, not just know it intellectually, but feel it in your heart, everything changes. Your whole world transforms. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. And when you change your inner world, your outer world has no choice but to follow. That's the law. That's how it works. That's the promise. So right now, in this moment, make a decision. Decide that you're done struggling. Decide that you're done trying to force things to happen. Decide that you're done living in stress and worry and fear. Decide that from this moment forward, you're going to relax and trust. You're going to expect your good to come to you easily and effortlessly. You're going to live from the end result. You're going to be it before you see it. And watch what happens. Watch how doors start to open. Watch how opportunities start to appear. Watch how the right people start showing up. Watch how solutions start presenting themselves. Watch how your life starts to transform in ways you never could have planned or predicted. Watch how the same-day expectation becomes your new reality. Because here's the truth. You don't have to wait. You never had to wait. The only thing that was ever in your way was your own belief that you had to wait, your own belief that you weren't worthy yet, your own belief that you had to suffer first, struggle first, prove yourself first. But none of that is true. None of that has ever been true. You are worthy right now. You are ready right now. You are enough right now. And the universe is not testing you. The universe is not making you wait to see if you're serious. The universe is not punishing you for past mistakes. The universe is simply responding to your energy. And when you shift your energy to one of relaxation, trust, and expectation, the universe shifts its response. It has its law. It's not personal. It's not arbitrary. It's as reliable as the sunrise. So breathe, let go. Release the grip you've been holding on everything. Stop trying to control every outcome. Stop worrying about every detail. Stop obsessing over when and how and where. Just be, just trust, just know. And let the universe do what it does best, which is deliver to you everything you need exactly when you need it. Your only job is to stay in alignment, to stay in a state of allowing, to stay connected to source energy. And you do that by feeling good. You do that by choosing thoughts that feel better. You do that by focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want. You do that by appreciating what you have instead of complaining about what you lack. You do that by being grateful for what's already shown up and excited about what's on its way. When you live like this, when you make this your daily practice, miracles become normal. Synchronicities become commonplace. Manifestations become expected. Because you've raised your vibration to a level where these things are natural. You've aligned yourself with the flow of the universe. You've become a cooperative component with the energy that creates worlds. And from this place, anything is possible. Anything. Not just the things you think are realistic, not just the things that seem probable based on your current circumstances. Anything your heart truly desires. Because your desires are not random. Your desires were placed in your heart by the same source that created you, and that source would never give you a desire without also providing the means to fulfill it. So if you desire it, if you truly desire it, not from ego but from soul, it's already yours. It exists for you. It's waiting for you. All you have to do is relax and trust and expect it. All you have to do is become a vibrational match to it. All you have to do is be the person who has it. Feel the way you'd feel if you had it. Live the way you'd live if it was already here. And when you do that consistently, when you make that your way of being, the physical manifestation must follow. It's law. It's not a maybe. It's not a hope. It's not a wish. It's a certainty. And the more you practice this, the faster the manifestations come. The more you relax and trust, the more the same day expectation becomes your reality. This is the life you were meant to live. A life of ease, a life of flow, a life of joy. A life where you create deliberately and consciously, where you know you're supported, where you trust the process, where you expect miracles. Not because you're special, but because you finally understand how this whole thing works. You finally understand that you are not separate from the creative force of the universe. You are an expression of it. You are an extension of it. You are it. And when you know this, really know this, everything is possible. Everything is available. Everything is accessible. Right here, right now. The same day, every day, all the time. Because you're not waiting for the universe to give you permission. You're not waiting for circumstances to change. You're not waiting to become someone different. You're simply aligning with what already is, what has always been, what will always be. So relax, trust, expect it, live it, be it, and watch your life transform before your very eyes. Watch as what you once thought was impossible becomes not only possible but inevitable. Watch as the struggles fall away and the flow takes over. Watch as you step into the life you were always meant to live, the life that's been waiting for you all along, the life you can have the same day you decide you're ready for it. Because you are ready. You've always been ready. The universe has been ready. Everything has been ready. The only thing that was ever not ready was your belief that you were ready. But now you know. Now you understand. Now you can step forward with confidence and trust and expectation. Now you can relax into the knowing that everything you need is coming to you, is already on its way, is actually already here, just waiting for you to tune into the frequency of it. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your invitation to live differently, to be different, to experience life from a higher perspective. Accept that invitation. Step into that possibility. Become that person. And never look back. Because once you've tasted this way of living, once you've experienced what it's like to relax and trust and expect your good the same day, you'll never want to go back to the old way of struggle and stress and worry. You'll know in your bones that there's a better way. You'll know in your heart that you're supported. You'll know in your soul that you're loved. And from that place of knowing, you'll create a life beyond your wildest dreams. Not someday, not eventually, not in some distant future, but starting today, starting now, starting this very moment, because the universe is ready to give you everything you've been asking for. The only question is, are you ready to receive it? The answer is yes, you are ready. You've always been ready, so relax, trust, expect it, and let the magic unfold. There's something I want you to consider that might shift everything for you right now. Every single person who has ever walked this earth has had access to the same universal power that you have access to right this moment. The same power, the same source, the same infinite intelligence. The difference between those who live extraordinary lives and those who live in quiet desperation is not talent, not luck, not circumstances of birth. The difference is in their relationship with this power. The difference is in their willingness to get out of their own way and let it work through them. You've been conditioned to believe that you have to earn everything, that nothing comes without hard labor and sacrifice, that if you're not exhausted, you haven't done enough. But let me ask you something. Does the sun work hard to shine? Does the ocean struggle to create waves? Does your body have to try to heal a cut on your finger? No. These things happen naturally, automatically, effortlessly, because they're operating according to universal laws. They're in harmony with the way things work. And you can operate the same way. You can live in that same harmony. You can tap into that same effortless power. But first, you have to stop believing that you're separate from it. You have to stop thinking that you're just this limited human being trying to survive in a hostile world. You have to recognize that you are part of something so much bigger, so much more magnificent, so much more powerful than your limited mind can conceive. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? For most people, they immediately start thinking about their problems. They start worrying about their bills, their job, their relationships, their health. They start planning and strategizing and trying to figure out how they're going to make it through another day. And in doing that, they set the tone for their entire day. They tune themselves to the frequency of lack, of fear, of limitation. And then they wonder why nothing ever changes. What if instead, the first thing you did was connect with source energy? What if you started your day by feeling grateful for the breath in your lungs and the bed beneath you and the new day ahead? What if you spent just 5 minutes feeling the way you want to feel, thinking thoughts that feel good, aligning yourself with the energy of what you desire? Do you know what would happen? Your entire day would be different. Your entire life would be different. Because here's what most people don't understand. You're not creating your life through your actions. You're creating your life through your vibration. Your actions are important, yes, but they're secondary. They're the result of your vibration, not the cause of your success. When you're vibrating at a high frequency, when you're in alignment with source energy, the right actions become obvious. You're guided to do the right things at the right time. You don't have to struggle to figure it out. You don't have to force anything. It flows. And this is why relaxing and trusting is so powerful. When you relax, when you let go of the need to control everything, when you trust that you're being guided, you raise your vibration naturally. You move out of resistance and into allowing. You create space for miracles to happen. You open the door for the universe to surprise and delight you in ways you never imagined. Think about water. When water encounters an obstacle, does it fight against it? Does it try to force its way through? No. Water flows around the obstacle. Water finds the path of least resistance. And eventually, over time, water can wear down even the hardest stone. Not through force, not through struggle, but through persistent, gentle, natural flow. You can be like water. You can flow through your life instead of fighting through it. You can move around obstacles instead of exhausting yourself trying to break through them. You can trust that if a door is closed, there's a better door waiting to open. You can relax into the knowing that the universe is always working in your favor, even when it doesn't look that way from your limited perspective. So I've watched people transform their entire lives in an instant simply by changing their relationship with time. They stopped living in the future, always thinking, when this happens, then I'll be happy. They stopped living in the past, replaying old hurts and disappointments. They started living right now in this present moment, which is the only moment that actually exists, the only moment where you have any real power. When you bring your awareness fully into the present moment, something magical happens. The worry falls away. The stress dissolves. The fear evaporates. Because all of those things exist only in thoughts about the future or the past. They don't exist in the now. In the now, in this present moment, you are okay. You're breathing. You're alive. You're here. And from this place of presence, you can access the infinite power that's always available to you. This is why meditation is so transformative. Not because you're trying to empty your mind or achieve some special state, but because you're practicing being present. You're practicing letting go. You're practicing trusting. You're practicing relaxing into this moment exactly as it is. And the more you practice this, the more it becomes your natural way of being. The more you can carry this presence, this trust, this relaxation into every area of your life. Your life is not happening to you. Your life is responding to you. Every moment, you're sending out signals through your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your expectations. And every moment, the universe is receiving those signals and responding accordingly. When you understand this, really understand it, you realize that you have so much more power than you ever thought possible. You realize that you're not a victim, You're not at the mercy of circumstances. You're a creator. You're always creating, whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. So the question becomes, what do you want to create? What do you want your life to look like? How do you want to feel? Who do you want to be? And once you're clear on that, your job is simple. Align with it. Feel it. Be it. Live it. Now. Not someday. Now. The universe doesn't understand someday. The universe only understands now. When you say, I'll be happy someday, the universe hears, I'm choosing not to be happy now, and it keeps happiness in your future always just out of reach. But when you choose to be happy now, when you choose to feel abundant now, when you choose to feel loved now, the universe says yes, and starts bringing you more reasons to feel happy, abundant, and loved. This is the secret that changes everything. You don't wait for your life to change to feel different. You feel different first, and then your life changes. You don't wait for evidence to believe. You believe first, and then the evidence shows up. You don't wait for permission to live fully. You give yourself permission right now, and then life opens up for you in ways you never dreamed possible. So stop waiting. Stop postponing your joy. Stop thinking you have to have everything figured out before you can relax and trust. You don't. You can relax and trust right now exactly as you are, exactly where you are. And when you do, everything starts to shift. Not because the universe finally decided to help you, but because you finally got out of your own way and allowed what was always there to flow to you and through you. This is your birthright. This is what you came here to experience. Not struggle, not suffering, not endless waiting and wanting, but joy, flow, ease, abundance, love, all of it, right now. The same day you decide you're ready for it, the same day you align with it, the same day you become it,